Breaking news now at 6. One of two brothers accused of shooting a Balcones Heights officer now in custody of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. This video is from just moments ago when Sijifredo Montemayor was walked into jail where he will be booked for attempted capital murder of a police officer. The sheriff says the suspect was arrested in Mexico last night and agreed to be brought back to the U.S. to face charges.
Eyewitness News reporter Mariah Medina has the latest on his arrest and the search for the second brother who's still on the run.
The sheriff says Tamaulipas State Police yesterday apprehended Sijifredo Montemayor after he sought treatment for wounds he suffered in a gun battle with Balcones Heights police officers. His brother, Sijifredo Montemayor, still on the run. The sheriff said Sijifredo made his way across the U.S.-Mexico border with the help of family. Investigators last night were looking into whether family knew the brothers were wanted in connection with the shooting of Balcones Heights Police Sergeant Joey Sepulveda, but said preliminarily they believe Sijifredo and Sijifredo Montemayor concocted a story that Sijifredo accidentally shot his brother and didn't want authorities asking questions, so Sijifredo needed to go to Mexico for treatment. Last night, a SWAT team raided the Montemayor's home, deputies questioning and later releasing relatives.
Now, obviously, Sijifredo was already in Mexico, so he's in custody, but Sijifredo is still at large. We believe he's still in San Antonio, and we believe he's still armed and dangerous.
Each of the men are facing charges of attempted capital murder of a peace officer. At last check, Sergeant Sepulveda is still recovering at an area hospital. Mariah Medina, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.